Isn't this the early? Isn't it weird? It's like bright out.
the bar
What are we
even
doing?
open?
We're doing like a playoff preview.
Is this what? Yeah, what's going on? Is this a regular daytime show? Is
I
this,
don't know. I have no idea what's
Oh God, we're live! Welcome everybody into the pregame show.
Yeah.
First of all, my geography's pretty great.
Okay,
But
sure.
Detroit not nearly east enough for a 5 o'clock start. What's going? Does anybody know what's going on? Usually that's a 6 o'clock start.
Yeah, Central Time Zone, 6
Yeah.
o'clock
So we get the
start.
5 o'clock. I'm not complaining. I'm happy. I'm going to be in bed tonight before like 2 a.m.
Hey,
I'm
man.
very
I'm going to be
excited
in bed
for
in
that.
about 20 minutes.
Sitting there right at the bed section. Anyway, the Nuggets are taking on the Detroit Pistons for the second time. Deja vu, but although different cast, a little bit different. We're going to get into all of that. We're kind of talking about the Rising Stars Challenges. Bones going to make it. Also, it's got a weird new rule that we think is an improvement.
Adam,
or-
it's the Clorox Rising Stars Challenge.
Oh, it's my
Please
bad.
refer to it by its proper name.
Clorox?
Yeah, please.
What a sponsor, Clorox.
That's actually awesome.
That really speaks to me, man. I can't wait. I'm just so much more likely to buy Clorox now. Third segment, we might call an audible. We might talk about season tickets, although trying to hear back from some people with the Nuggets to confirm
I've
this.
seen tickets.
So maybe we'll talk about it. But I also want to talk a little bit about some of the news coming down the. Is it down the pike?
Pike?
Yeah.
News comes down the pike.
The pike.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not the pipe. You thought it was the pipe,
I
but it's
did think
actually
it's the
pipe.
turnpike.
What's a pike?
The turnpike.
I know about
You're
that.
Eastern.
Pike.
Not a fish.
There's no turnpikes in
Something
Denver.
coming down the pipe.
Yeah, but the colloquialisms do not adjust as they go across the country. It's down the pike. It's champing. There's a
It is
variety of
champing
things.
Champing at the bit.
There's a variety
That's
of
right.
things that you feel
Champing
like
at the
should be
bit,
the right
yeah.
word, but colloquialisms get minted and they never get changed. They're non-fungible, just like tokens.
They are non-fungible.
News under the fridge.
It is
The
news under the
comment.
fridge. All right, we're gonna get. I got a great cast with me tonight, though, guys. I got Brendan Vogt in the house.
Dude, who doesn't love a 5 o'clock start? Come on, man. My vibes are high. Let's go, baby.
I noticed that about
That's
you
not
today.
the only thing that's high, right?
You tell me.
You tell
I
me.
have no idea.
Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook and Lightshade. Over here, I got D-Line Co. You guys know him as Eric.
What's up, guys? Had a pretty rough day. Putting on a smiling face. Nothing people like more than a laughing clown. The tears of a clown over here.
Self-degrading every single day on this.
Eric's
episode
headspace
on this
this year.
podcast.
Eric,
for you,
like
man.
all true comedians, his humor comes from a deep, dark,
Yeah.
He's
it's
on
dark.
very
You
dark.
know what the worst part is?
sadness.
That I'm not a comedian. I'm a designer.
But you are funny. Your designs also come from there. And over here, wearing the cardigan once again.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's the man with
It's
the
a
wind in his
snowy
hair.
day, but a beautiful day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Snow can be beautiful. In fact, I would say it is beautiful.
I would agree with that.
I don't know if you guys all caught this, but today I had a coyote in the backyard.
I did see that.
Oh.
I do follow your National
Do you?
Geographic Twitter thread.
It's pretty good, right?
It's surprisingly good.
I
You had a lot
try-
of
I tell
action
people
over
they
It's
can
there.
mute it
bordering
if you
on
wanna
you
mute it.
needing a separate account at this point.
That's
That's why I put it all in one thread. You can mute for that mute conversation
Yeah, dude.
if you want.
You need to have a new account called Grizzly Adam.
Oh man, I should be Grizzly Adam. That
That's
should
good.
be a segment
That's
we do
really
on the
good.
show, Grizzly Adam. Anyway, it was beautiful. You
Live
saw,
from the woods.
you saw the snow falling. You saw the coyote. It's probably a good 80 pounder. Like
Oh,
one of the bigger ones I've
80
ever seen.
pounder?
An 80 pounder. You got to throw that one back. Man, I'm terrible. I got to jump out the window.
It's going to be our best and worst show at the same
Woo,
time.
here
All
we
right,
go.
Nuggets taking on the Detroit Pistons for the second time in a row. Give us some game notes, Wind.
It's Vogt today.
Give us some game notes.
We
Wind.
went over
Here
that
we go.
pregame.
I forgot that too.
Pregame
Okay,
to
so
pregame.
per Michael Malone, update to the injury report, Jeff Green will return and play tonight.
Okay.
Don't know yet if he's starting. Let me know
Okay.
if you see that on the interwebs, Wind.
Non-COVID illness, and he was on the sideline.
That was Bones.
No, I thought he was too.
No, Jeff Green's a quad, I believe.
Oh,
Can we
he's
just start
quad
referring
business,
it to Michael Jordan's famous game as a non-COVID illness?
we should actually.
Non-COVID-
we should refer
the
to that.
non-COVID
Are you
illness
talking
game.
about the non-COVID illness games?
That's really good.
That's really good.
Will Barton, who was probable heading into last game with some hamstring tightness, we talked about that. He will get the rest tonight. Will Barton is out. If you are concerned about why he's out, just a reminder that he was probable last game as well, was able to go. JaMychal Green is back from COVID, but still conditioning. Malone says, quote, very, very doubtful that he will play tonight.
Yeah.
And then as far as bigger notes outside of lineup stuff, Michael Malone's wants to clean up the most heading into this road trip, the defense. Big surprise there. Down the stretch, Corey Joseph and Isaiah Stewart, high pick and roll, they got whatever they wanted, which is a real quote.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
It's not a good
That's
sign.
the duo that's
And it's
killing you.
accurate, yeah.
You know what's sad? I went back to rewatch the game. We raved about Will Barton calling for the assignment late in the game. I think it was actually more of a miscue on rewatch.
Sick.
Ouch.
Because what you saw was like Barton run over, I think, to Monte and been like, you go over there, I'll go here. But I think what it actually was them crossing and both being like, what? And then like him stepping
You know
up.
what? That checks
A
out.
botched switch that should.
It was a botch, yeah, just like they didn't match up in transition and then had it. So I don't know. Either way, he got a steal, so good job.
Malone said that was his challenge for the players today, pointed out They did not give out a defensive player of the game chain last game because no one deserved it. I would like to point out Jokic
love
had
that,
2 steals
man.
and a block on the number 1 overall pick by
I
himself.
love
but,
that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Like when you use
It's just now a
something
coaching
that's
tool.
It's
the decon chain.
incredible,
when you
man.
use something that is meant to lift up to bring down. That's like
Yes.
that's incredible. Like we're not having a birthday this year because you didn't.
You don't get
were
any
bad.
cake after your birthday this year.
I'm telling you, man. So
amazing.
part of like when you become a parent, you read more books. This is my experience, at least. Maybe this isn't all true, but you read books about like how like because a kid's psychology. You know, you were taught back in the day. Eric and I are old. Back in the day, I feel like parenting had these norms to them. Like like you scream louder, and you just
Right.
like you take
I
away
remember
all of
that
their
one, yeah.
things, or maybe you get brought out the old belt or whatever. Like this was like the
okay.
like how you
Playing the
Or
hits.
or you just bail on them for years.
and then like when you have kids and you're like trying to figure out how to do it, you know you're kind of like, man, this is complex because you could see that they have like real important psychologies
Yeah.
in everything you do. You feel
Probably
like you're
shouldn't hit
effing them
them.
up. Yeah, definitely that part. But I'm saying even the little things about how you, for example, not giving them the thing they were promised, like a defensive player of the game chain, and you learn the psychology. Anyway, one of them I had, and I make the Warriors make me think of this: cheering before the thing happens. You got the Warriors, man. They come out, they're high-fiving, they're dancing, they're doing all this stuff, and it's like, hey, we try to make the thing the symbolic act of celebrating prior to the event part of it. And anyway, a lot of things in this book I could I'm going to share with
I had
Michael
a
Malone.
Was that a Malone take?
That was a
Hang on,
Malone
I got
tap. Just
lost.
saying, like the
tuned
idea
out.
of taking away, as you said, you have this thing that's a celebration of defense, and to take it away like that's like, come on, bro.
Quickly, I had a friend whose father would buy him presents, and then if he was bad, he would nail the presents to the ceiling so they are in view but out of reach. Much like Michael Malone with his
Jeez.
defensive player
I'm
of the game.
telling you.
And that is the most screwed up guy I know.
You read these books and you're just kind of like, wow, everything we think is right is wrong, and it makes sense why too. You're also like, oh yeah, that is probably damaging.
All right, moving along in the game notes section. DeMarcus
Parenting
Cousins
corner.
talked last game after the game about how the offense is going to be fine with this group. It's about a defensive identity. Like Malone said, look, Cousins is a vet. He knows what it takes to win. And he talks about how the Nuggets are entering definitely what he calls the dog days of the season. Players, coaches, even media, he said. That this is where guys start to get a little tired, start to take their eye off the ball, and it's about recommitting to that identity on the defensive end that the Nuggets initially established this season before running away from
I
it.
feel like the dog days of the season gets pushed up every year. We get to the dog days earlier and earlier and earlier every single year. It's only January. We're halfway through the year.
I feel like everyone hates the regular season except for me.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say.
That is the telltale sign that the regular season is way too long.
One time, Will Barton referred to training camp as the dog days. So to your point, that's the earliest it's ever been. But also,
Whenever you don't want to go to work.
exactly. But also to your point, I feel like the Nuggets are like 12-4 in their last 16 games. I'm finally like
Loving it.
back and like, yes, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And the players are like, man, this sucks. Can we just fast
Yeah,
forward?
like if you watch like whatever national shows are like, oh man, really dragging along. I'm like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Are we here to just watch basketball and enjoy it? Like, is it the only thing that matters is the goddamn championship? Why do we even play the regular season?
Also, if you watch the national shows, it's all about after last night's game. What is your updated MVP? And it's like, God dang it, man! It's the worst. It's the worst.
Glad
Absolute
you
worst.
asked. I have Jokic one. Guys, I hate to admit, and I'm really disappointed to report
Uh-oh.
that we have rebranded as a basketball culture in Denver. We're officially pro screen assist.
Yeah.
Michael Malone describing DeMarcus
no.
Cousins as a screener. Physical, effective. One thing we always track is screen assists. You always talk about Jokic getting the assists as a passer. But I don't know if you guys knew, you can free guys open with screens as well. Obviously, DeMarcus is not going to shy away from contact.
Can I push back on this for a very important
Please.
reason? You know, Mike D'Antoni famously said he never wants his screeners to make contact. This was his thing. When you set a good screen, do you know what you get out of that? A mid-range pull-up jumper. Because you think about it, you set the screen, your defender gets off, and the guy turns the corner into a pull-up off-the-dribble shot. And usually, those hard screens are have to be taken place like close to the. You can't like run into a guy, or else you risk the thing. So to me, I actually get bothered by this because I always get people saying like nobody sets a screen, but Mason Plumlee set the best screen. This guy. Usually, your lower skilled players will set the screen. The other players will will put their bodies in position so that the defender has to make a choice: high over or low under. That's the point of a screen in the modern NBA. So this idea of like a screen assist in this context, to me, I'm like, good for a player like the backup center to be doing this, but not necessarily a thing that every player should be doing.
It is hilarious to compliment somebody for doing something that a rock could do. He got in the way.
Eric, you rebounded strong. You're back.
I'm just saying, if you watch Yoke, 9 times out of 10, the screen that he's running with Monte Morris is the first screen is a setup for the second screen. They always run screen, rescreen. Sure. And the whole point, he doesn't make contact on the first one. And the whole point is you want to see, does the defender go under the screen and then you could pin him under, or does he go under the over the screen and then you can snake it? So this is my whole point is, it's a virtue to set a hard screen because we learned that in high school. But it's actually not a virtue in NBA basketball anymore. The game has evolved in important ways. Anyway, I just had to get that out.
Denver, though, a team severely lacking in that physicality, I think, especially outside of AG. So, as you said, maybe a difference between a backup. I kind of like having a bigger, stronger guy that's just going to make you think twice about running.
There's utility for it for sure. I'm just saying, we run a hard screen for Facu. We're going to get Facu pull-up jumpers from the foul line every time. It's like,
I don't know if he's going to pull up, but you're right. That's what it would break.
Let's talk, guys. There's an update to the Rising Stars Challenge.
Yes.
And it got me thinking, like, the NBA's trying to. Adam Silver, an innovator.
You could call him that, yeah.
In ways both good and bad. Because he is not willing to mix up. And let's be honest, the Rising Stars Challenge, not exactly the pearl of All-Star Weekend.
The only event it's better than is the Celebrity Game. And even that's
so
debatable.
Bad. I don't mind the idea of a Rising Stars Challenge because I like to see the next generation of players, but they have made it some changes. Do you want to go over these changes? Or did you want me to go over them? I can share with...
Yeah, can you go over them?
Let me pull up exactly. So there's going to be now 3 teams, not 2. Usually we just have rookie, sophomore. For a while they tried international and non-international, which actually didn't really work out because some years there's just better...
Are going to be 3
I
baskets?
do like that kind of format, though. International versus...
So there's 2 semifinal... So now it's a round robin. 28 players selected, 12 rookies, 12 sophomores, and for the first time, 4 G League Ignite players.
Oh.
So obviously, this is the NBA's effort to try to boost the player. They want guys going to the G League, and I got to be honest, I'm kind of okay with that in concept. Like I've long said, I'm not. Part of me is I'm such a non-traditionalist, and I hate college basketball because I think it for like just like exploitive reasons, but also because I think the basketball sucks, and I think the best way is for guys to go there one and done. So if we can get rid of that, so that players now, if you're a one and done,
you don't want them to take like 3 credits.
No, exactly. This whole fake thing about exactly.
Okay. Students first.
Yeah, students first. Like if we could just take you're one and dones, you go to the G League. Okay, so the NBA is trying to funnel this, but it certainly does make it a little bit more confusing. There's going to be 2 semifinal games played with an Elam ending score of 50 points, and then a final where the target of 75 points to honor the NBA's 75th anniversary, which is kind of lame.
Is this all in one night?
Yeah, I'm like really confused. What are we talking about?
I think so. So this is going to be a little
they're
bit...
working these guys over the All-Star break.
Well, first of all, an All-Star game to 50, that's like one
By
quarter.
the way, guys, it's 4 7-player teams from a pool of 28.
Oh, so they mix them up. That's how it is. Oh, I see. So
I think there's a draft and stuff.
I got you. Oh, I got you. So there's 4 teams.
There's
all right,
also
gotcha.
a clutch challenge in between games 2 and 3,
where you have to sign with clutch.
Where 8 NBA and G League Ignite players are divided into 4 teams of 2 and make 5 baskets from locations of iconic NBA playoff shots.
That's going to be lame. I'm telling you.
This sounds
right
like a 2K game mode for sure. But that's a thing that's
do the Sombor shuffle from the top of the key challenge.
So they're mixing up. Well, here's the thing. You already talked about how you don't really care for this event. Sometimes when you shorten the competition, like for example, you don't care what the score is of halftime at the Rising Stars Challenge.
Right.
Now you do, because halftime's actually the final score, and then you advance. So I guess it does make it a little bit more like you're into it a little bit more. This is what the NBA did this how they've changed it, where each quarter is for like, you get a point for winning the quarters or whatever.
Sure,
so I guess it does make you a little bit more invested in it. I'm for it. Here's what I say. If it's a thing I don't like, I'm fine changing it. This changes it. All right, cool.
My thing is like they change this every year. Like
they do a lot.
It's the same thing. How much do they hate their own All-Star game? They're like,
A lot.
all they do is just change. Like it seems like we have good versions of the All-Star game, and then they're like, well, we got to make some changes, big sweeping changes every year. And you're like, all right.
I kind of like where the All-Star game is right now. I like this idea of picking the teams, and I like the LM ending. So I actually feel like it has become a little bit more competitive.
Definitely.
Do you guys watch the Rising Stars Challenge either way, regardless of
I usually do. I'll be honest.
I will watch like a first half of that sometimes.
Depends on
and
who's
then
playing. If it's Kenneth Fareed and
he did make it.
Michael Porter Jr., who did not make it.
Right.
But yeah, it really all depends on who's playing.
So if we go through this, because that's the other thing I want to ask, is Bones going to make it? This is a great rookie class.
I don't think he's going to make it.
When you went through it, Harrison, how close or how far was he from, like, if you were picking the 12 best rookies?
I mean, he's definitely outside the top 10. And I'm just sorting it by scoring because that's probably what
that's usually
they're
the most
going to go
predictive
off
for this. Yeah,
he's 12th in scoring, but behind him you've got guys like the Sunmu.
He's coming on strong for a big market. Kuminga's there. Wow. Okay.
Austin
The fun
Reeves.
bucket.
Austin Reeves, the Laker. There's the token Laker that gets in. God dang it.
Brandon Boston. So he's definitely on the border. I'm going to say he doesn't make
When does
it,
that
though.
roster get selected? You still got like a week or two to make an
That is
impression,
true.
right?
That is true.
I mean, we need a big road trip from Bones, man. We need a late push here for Bones.
He does seem to be right in that bubble, though, right?
We should start the campaign. DNVR, let's start the campaign. Bones. Because, look, Bones would make this more fun. Bones is a Rising Stars Challenge type player, man.
He is an exhibition elite player.
Dude, he's going to
also
put guys on
personality.
skates. He's a
You want him
personality.
there,
I want him there. I want him hanging out with Yoke for a whole weekend.
Ooh, I like
bonding
that.
time.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to talk about a game that Bones is suited to play, that is the ultimate Hooper showcase.
Oh, it's a Hooper show. Yeah. Where does he rank amongst
Hooper
Hoopers?
too.
Oh, by the way, I gotta tell you guys, we had one practice over the last 2 months. We had one practice. We interviewed Bones Hyland, and at one point he says Hooper, and what do I see? Harrison Wynn, mask and all. I
cracking up.
just see only eyes, and they're squinty eyes. He looks at me and he starts going.
I just had to make sure you caught that.
Oh no, he's laughing so hard in the Harrison way, and I was like, Mike, this dude. But it was funny. He actually said it twice. I'm a Hooper, and Hoopers, that's like wow, it's incredible.
What this will be, though, I mean, the cool part about this is there's a draft, and then there's 4 teams. So this is like the tampering Olympics, is what this is going to be. Like, this is going to be an event where all the young guys come together and be like,
sucks so bad.
all right, when my rookie contract is up, who do I want to play with?
Yeah, you're right. This is the tampering Olympics.
Maybe we don't want Bones.
Yeah, you got Facu and Zeke also, who maybe, but I don't know if either one of those guys is going to make the sophomore portion of this. So
probably not.
We'll find out what happens.
Yeah.
We'll find out what happens. We can talk really quickly about season tickets. I saw somebody put a tweet out today that said their season tickets were raised 100%. I reached out to the Nuggets ticket sales and said, "Hey, can you tell us what's going on with the scales?" Got a quick email saying that's not right. The doubling or something sounds like a miscommunication. That's at least what they're representing early on. We'll wait to see if there's more. But we also have a test subject. Our very own Eric Weedham is a season ticket holder, long-time season ticket holder.
You wouldn't know that I'm a season ticket holder because I watch every goddamn game here, and my season tickets
Still
go to
paying.
waste.
Yeah.
I received the same communication. I went in and I looked, and my season tickets went up $400 for 2 tickets.
Which is about 10% or maybe 12?
Much less.
Much less than that.
Yeah, it went up like a pretty nominal amount.
Okay. So this is the thing about this. This is the thing about the social media era is, people are very quick. They want to be mad. They want to be upset, and they want to see because it's easy to rally around like, oh, they raised ticket prices by 100%. That sounds awful. That sounds like a terrible thing. We can all agree that's a horrible thing that happens. But the reason I didn't want to jump on this too hard is because it doesn't sound like that's necessarily the case all the way through. Maybe there's a very unique case in which certain ones went up by that much, but until we know more, I don't want to dunk on the Cronkies for it. And as much as I enjoy dunking on the Cronkies.
Also believe those anecdotal reports. I'm sure maybe there was a communication or what, not accusing anyone of lying, but definitely something we want to make sure we get right before we drop the old hammer.
Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, Ball Arena, not full this year. And understandably so, is like most of the season has taken place during that Omicron surge, which thank God has come down almost as quickly as it's shot up.
Yeah.
But a lot of the season, I have to imagine, a lot of people were thinking just like all we were. Like, do I want to be in an arena 17,000 people tonight?
Sure.
I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know. That's a story that I just think we could put a pin in. One other thing that I want to talk about, though, we can kind of audible here. So some reports coming out. One, Philadelphia, not too concerned about not trading Ben Simmons right now. Why? Because there's rumors by our own guy, Jake Fisher, friend of the show.
Our
guy who was reporting that James Harden secretly eyeing Philadelphia this offseason because he's sick of Kyrie, doesn't like the cold in Brooklyn, doesn't really like the atmosphere, and maybe he wants to go play with Philadelphia.
He wants to go to tropical Philadelphia.
Well, I'm bringing this up for 2 reasons. There's that, but then there's also the report that we saw from multiple different outlets, including Brian Windhorst, that Jeremy Grant maybe doesn't want to be part of the Lakers. Why? He doesn't want to be third fiddle to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So my question, really, how I want to ask this is, do you guys see a changing of the mind frame with these super teams, and that maybe players are we went through the era of like, let's all team up, let's all join. And do you think there's a little bit of a now blowback to, I want to be on a good team, I want to be in the right situation, but I also don't want it to be too good. Like, I don't want to have to sacrifice too much. Just two big examples here I see.
I think, first of all, I do think on a macro level, we're going to start to see this. We've already heard Jokic talk about it. John Morant has talked about it. A lot can change between now and then, of course, we know. But even Giannis, who strongly considered it, ultimately stayed, then wins a title and waxes poetic about how much more fulfilling it was to him. I do think we could see a change in attitude. The Jeremy thing I've always looked at as a very good reminder that we look at maybe 2 or 3 boxes in terms of like, why does a guy choose a place? And I think Jeremy was a good example of, well, these are all individuals, you know what I mean, who are motivated by different sets of things. So Grant might be a somewhat unique thing. I do agree on the larger point, though. I think we might be moving away from, I guess, the LeBron era of things.
It's the LeBron era, but also the KD era. And you'll never know this, but I wonder what players think of KD and his Golden State thing. And I think that might, as much as anything, kind of be the blowback to,
True.
Man, that put it too far. And maybe I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah. I was going to say, my larger takeaway from a lot of the player movement over the last couple of years is, I think guys want to win, but it's very few players' top priority. It's almost like 1% of players' top priority.
You think?
Is to win. I was listening to Jake on one of his chats he had today, and he was saying that Harden misses Houston and just hates living in the city of Brooklyn.
Right.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's like, and like this is
I'm
honestly,
so rooting for the Nets to have a miserable year, just to all be miserable. Like, I'm just rooting for it.
This is honestly like one of the takes I developed covering the team and being in NBA locker rooms. A lot of the time, and this is going to sound crazy, but it almost seems like we as the media and fans
definitely
care more about a win or a loss than players do. And like they just, take a loss or move on, or take a win and move on. But I just think there's a lot of stuff that's more important than winning.
Yeah, I tend to think that there has been so much blowback. Like you say, you wonder about KD. People were very, very vocal about it. Like, it became just the talking point. Like, KD became the emblematic, the emblem of what's wrong with the player empowerment movement. Like, people, like the LeBron thing, the decision. You can look back at all this stuff. It's hilarious, like what little tent poles end up really defining an era of sports. But like, it's been loathsome. Like, people don't like it. It's like, and frankly, like when KD even wins, like people don't even, it doesn't come up as like an accomplishment.
Yeah, the move shaped the rest of his career.
I think also, like, Damian, no players are honest with the media. Let's be honest. Like, no players really will say on these types of topics because they know they don't want to be pigeonholed into this or that. But Damian Lillard talking about how Giannis genuinely looked happy when he won, it did make me wonder how many other players look at that and wonder the exact same thing.
Totally, man. When you go to a super team, there's a pressure that comes with that.
Follows you nonstop.
Because you're supposed to win now.
If Giannis wins this year, and they're favorites, by the way, if Giannis wins, everyone's going to be like, awesome. If Brooklyn wins, there's a certain level of like, you were supposed to, even though those two teams probably have the same odds. So maybe there is something here towards all of these things. I don't know. It's curious. Let's move on. We got to keep going. Maybe we'll continue this conversation in the post-game show because it is a fun topic. This is why you guys got to tune into the post-game show. You got to retweet the post-game show. You got to share people because it's like a mini pod. Let's open up DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, and let's make some money today.
Did you guys see the MVP parlay? It's kind of fun.
There's an MVP
parlay?
parlay?
I did not.
Yeah, it's a little special. It's Steph points, Harden assists, Jokic rebounds. So you could bet on all three. They're all overwhelming favorites, but with the parlay special, the odds go up to 493 or something like that.
That's kind of cool, man.
It's a fun one if you're feeling like tracking some stars tonight.
The old MVP. I don't want to bet on Harden.
Yeah, by the way, MVP parlay. What's Harden doing in there?
Yeah, that's true.
Question.
That is a weird one. What is Harden doing?
DraftKings pushing the agenda.
Wow. Okay. Eric, are you going to make us some bets, or are you?
All right. Yeah. Sorry, I was waiting for my lead-in. Okay. So first and foremost, let's see here. Logging into the old DraftKings account.
All right. The Nuggets are
checking my location.
7-point favorites
Nuggets
tonight.
are 7-point favorites.
Yeah, they are.
So the one thing about this matchup, I don't know if you know about this, but we can call on recent precedent. The Nuggets played this very team just last game.
I remember that one.
They won by what ended up being a pretty uncomfy margin. But -7. Like what? We're now in the city of in the Motor City. Do we think that changes anything for the Denver Nuggets? They're still favored.
I think this is a tough game.
Yeah,
It's hard to beat.
I would not
it's hard
take
to
the
beat team-
-7.
It's hard to beat a team twice. I mean, I think Denver should win this one, but I think
Definitely.
it's hard to beat a team twice.
Yeah, and then
I do think Detroit played way above their median level last game, but
Yeah.
they're at home. They have confidence now because they just played this team
No Will
close.
Barton's a scary thing for me, man.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing
no
for
Will
me.
Barton. The other thing is that the Nuggets really should have won that game by 15, but the Pistons went like unrealistically hot from 3 in that fourth quarter.
Denver's zone probably won't have the same punch second time around, so
Yeah, I don't know. As you know, I hate betting points, so I'm not going to bet that. But it's always a good entry point to start talking about the game. The over under 217. I mean, same kind of thing. Like Detroit, the last game they went way, way, way over.
I'm a propsman on this one.
You are. I myself am a sworn propsman. So let's dive into the props, shall we? The lock. The lock.
Wow,
that we
already,
levied
here we
last
go.
time. The lock we leveled last time was our own brand new beloved Bryn Forbes. As we call.
That's your lock?
Well, I'm just saying. Let's look at it again. So. Bryn Forbes is being, let's see, for threes. Let's see what we got here. Over 1.5 again. I love it again.
Really?
Bryn Forbes, over 1.5 threes.
You know what? I'm taking it just because I like it. It's fun. With no Barton, he'll probably play a little bit more.
Right. Austin Rivers is starting again tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. Bryn looked like a willing and a capable shooter, which was
Definitely
nice
capable.
to see. And
Definitely willing.
Definitely willing. Definitely capable.
Can I remind you something real quick?
Please, please.
Monte Morris, homecoming. Some home cooking. Lots
What do you
of
think-
family
what do
in
we think of
They
town.
also need him with no Will.
What do you think?
He had a bad game last game.
You thinking points?
I'm thinking
Over-
points. 12.5 is so low, man.
Yeah, also over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Monte.
I'm taking points on this one. I think he's a scorer.
I kind of think you're right. Like that's the thing that gets your family excited if you come in and light it up.
They don't want you to go over there rebounding.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, way to go. Nice screen assist, Monte. I'm with you. I love that bet. That's a great call.
Okay.
Monte Morris homecoming. I don't know. Jokic ended up playing the entire game last time. This to me again feels like a good chance he won't play the entire thing though. Like normally,
I think it's gonna be a close game.
You think
though.
so?
I do.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Nuggets are going to make good on what they should have last time and actually
I'd
just
love to
put the Pistons to bed. Which is why I don't like any Jokic bets tonight, just because I can't trust it. I don't.
Who are you, man?
Man,
Well,
this is weird.
I'm trying to be a
He's
savvy
shook
bettor
today,
these
man. He's
days.
shook today. That's
You are shook.
I am shook.
kind of rough.
It's a rough day if you're like, Yoke, I'm not sure about him, guys. He's in a slump. I don't know if you've seen his
The Nuggets
numbers
are gonna
lately.
win, but
He's at
Jokic, I
he's
don't
at the
know.
greatest stretch of his career.
playing like
going up against
Stay away.
He's going up against Isaiah Stewart, who had like the perfect game and still got cooked.
Yeah, I
since
know.
Wilt.
I know. I mean, what do you guys like? Do you like Jokic tonight?
I
Do
do.
you like points?
I like Jokic rebounds.
Rebounds? Last game he had 10.
He's due.
Jeff Green over 3.5 rebounds. That's
He's
a
the
lock.
one I don't know how to play. Although rebounds,
starting.
That's a low.
I mean-
that's a low amount of rebounds for
Yeah.
Jeff Green. Although does he rebound?
Does
He got
rebound?
7 last time he played.
Alrighty, I'm in. Or we got it. We got our 3 bets in, guys.
got 'em, baby.
Not a lot of bets on this.
Dude, this is like a
on this
weird
front
game.
end.
This
is
like
a
you
weird
said,
game.
this is
It's
a weird game. The start time is weird. It's the same opponent twice in a row. Like you say, like a lot of times there are lessons learned. There could be some travel fatigue. The only thing I'm sure of is that Bryn Forbes is going to be hot.
Wow,
hot.
that's his. That's what he's
He is a good
Actually, you
guy.
know what we should bet on tonight? Do we have point total for DeMarcus Cousins?
I don't see one.
He's not on there?
What about rebounds? Is he on there for
I don't
rebounds?
see him on here for anything.
Oh, man, because that's the one I would have loved to take. That would have been a lot of fun tonight. I think he would.
Personal
go off.
fouls.
Personal fouls, technicals. He's not on there. What a bummer.
It's all about Monte tonight.
All right, we got that. It's all about Monte. We're riding with Monte. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out, and we will see you in the postgame.
Let's go. Bryn Forbes, let's go.